ayikhuluma ayikhula naye uMaria but they understood ukuthi uMaria wakhetho nguJehova. So again, we have all our motivational speakers amaningi. We have Vusi Thembekwayo, we have Linda Ntuli, we have Dr. Dibane, Nothembiso Zondo, Sibu Telezi, Yobhala Incwadi, and also Abe a life coach. But it's something that uNkulunkulu ayenzayo unikeza indoda ubuhlakani, anikeze one man something, anikeze this woman something, not ukuthi anibiziwe imino iwu5 and le minimum u5 yonke iyadingana le mino, but kuba khona le weight eba khona uma kuthiwa insimbi enye ilola enye insimbi. So to have someone like Vusi Thembekwayo in South Africa, I think the government and business people, corporate sector, they must sibonga ukuthi uNkulunkulu sinikeze umuntu okwi11 noma kwi-league where we say wow, this brother. So I believe even kusifuna ukuthi umuntu ngimhlomo uPhapelo Gwalagwala esaphila. I've done it with uLinda Ntuli, sihle bam, pure powerful guy where lwazi .biz ezosiza abantu abaningi when it comes to business, because we are in business but we are not the same. There is Uzanele Mbogazi, the life coach as well. Now she wrote books for Paliskie. It's not about it's not Dr. Nelly, Zimu, Naye, or a life coach. So we have a powerful that God abaketile. But there are two things that if I see back would you choose ukuthi ube ordinary, and then but again you choose ukuba extraordinary as long as you know who you are. And then uDr. Dibane uthi you must discover who you are, zithola ukuthi ngubani, and then aphinda athi develop your thinking, develop your dream each and every day. Dr. Dibane, you must demonstrate the power that God invested in you. For example, if you look normally, you listen to radio, we share one microphone, radio DJs, but kuba few that uNkulunkulu abanikeza that glory, because I remember when Kuba no Vusi, I think the day before yesterday, I was saying that I think the three things uNkulunkulu azenzayo kumuntu, kunabantu abayi blessing, nabantu abayi curse, empilweni yakho, and then there's grace as well, but must phila with grace. So kuma 20s we will say we have abantu abanjengo Vusi Thembekwayo, the Linda Ntuli of this world, Dr. Nelly, Zanele Mbogazi, Sibu Telezi, Basetsane Khumalo, Connie Ferguson, because uNkulunkulu yakhetha DJ Sibu, my brother Tipotash, and then we have people that abakhona abakwi background. So it's either we presenter or a content producer, or when we are a technical producer. Sihlukile the way esibizwe ngayo. So where you are as a teacher, you have to maximize the moment. So as a life coach, maximize the moment. As a driver of itekisi, you are maximizing, because one day you're going to be a taxi owner, and it pains me uma ngibheka the economy ekhona elokishini right now is dying down. So I'm here to speak to Vusi, to speak to Mr. Thembekwayo, as an entrepreneur, as indoda business, and also ngena umona asiza abanye abantu senza kanjani man ukuthi le economy will lockdown bangalimali abanye abantu. So today sobheka lokho nomnumzane uVusi. Yes, allow me to introduce this man, man that I respect, the man in amagalelo ngesizulu, amagalelo anzima kakhulu, indoda enobuhlakani, ngishilo indoda enobuchopho, indoda ngesixhosa bathi klele kaloku ngesizulu indoda ephiwe ubuchopho, indoda kaJehova, indoda that will respect umnumzana Vusi Thembekwayo, my brother. Uyaphila mfowethu.
Ngiphelele mfowethu. Abangazi ngiyaxolisa kancane.
I know you're
now they don't know how far back we go.
My brother, from Ukhozi FM.
You've always been a, you've always been a brother to me. You've always been somebody who, every time we talk, my heart feels a sense of blessing, and my life is given a sense of perspective. And let me tell you, that's very rare today, Westby. It's very rare today to have access to that type of wisdom and that type of insight and that type of a giving heart. So yeah, man. Yeah, abantu bakhala network wami. Can I let me log out and log back in?
Please, yeah, log out and log back in because your network is bad. Okay, Vusi is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. Instagram Live, Mr. Magic Sibiya and Vusi Thembekwayo. Have a great guy tonight. So that you can. This is a guy who cozy, and then why ban a slot, and then Aniyeze Amazwi and Plagan. And then I remember we met in Peter Marisbeck. I ngakhuluma after him, and he will remember Manumla Uti. He invited to Vusi Thembekwayo to come. Uguti Abenati. Peter Marisbeck, and then he was motivating young people, and I was like, wow, this guy, polished Englishman, very polished English, and then English, the power you're thinking, and the men in the Sibindi, you need men listen to amadoda nesibindi. You must be brave and then be fearless because you know what you want in life. So you have to run a race that is set before you. That's a song is cut. So I was saying, Dr. Ntibanu Kurumo, to demonstrate the power that God invested in you. So you are chosen. You are one of a kind. You are unique. If you are unique, you have to run your race that is set before you. And then sometimes you have to keep quiet. Don't talk, man. Sometimes you waste your time. Sometimes you need to keep quiet. And then let imsebenzi onayo ikukhulumele kakhulu. Okay. Vusi is back. Let's see what the network of Vusi ihamba kanjani manje. And then we're ready to have ngithi ake siyidolo siyabuya, and when we come back it's khuluma no Vusi Thembekwayo. My brother.
Wow.
Yes.
Is it
You're
better?
back. It's still bad. I think Laushel corner. Your network is not good, man, Vusi.
Not quality about.
Oh yes, you're back. Yes.
The issue is I was using Wi-Fi like yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. No, when I was live, when I was doing breakfast show Monday to Friday, ngesizulu bengisasho ukuthi ngesiZulu wawufika nobuchopho obunzima. Amaxhosa athi insizwe eqhelekele.
My God, great. You know, I wanted to say, Westby, I think one of the challenges of our world today is that ikakhulu thina njengabantu abansundu, we tend not to think ukuthi there's a room for all of us. So when I see Sibiya succeeding, I don't have a relationship with another black man's success. And then I begin to think, finally, So, for people like us, and there are people today who follow me who don't know our relationship. They don't know what back in the day when I was still, I'm looking for a platform and a place. You gave me a massive opportunity, Okozini, and I'll forever be grateful for that, because I would not be where I am today with the blessings that God has given me today were it not for your vision back in those years.
Thank you, Vusi. Thank you. I remember the first day I was supposed to speak after you, Peter Marisbeck, and I was told, no, you're speaking after Vusi. And then I came, and then Ngama at the back, we all, English meeting. Yo. 'Cause, 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 my God. And then when yes, in Pietermaritzburg. Yeah. But after Nketa, and then Vusi was there, what Mnumzan, man. And then from there, and we've been a brother, my brother, and then to have Abanda Banjingawe. I remember we had a session Gukozi, and then the current programs manager, Uzani Letembe, invited you again to give Amazon Amanda Basagas Bokozi FM. That was very powerful, Vusi. Very powerful.
You know, of course, then it will always be home. It will always be home to me because, you know, it's always protected me, and I've always thought about the people who work with Kozini as family. You know, so I've been very blessed.
Sure. Vusi, last time I remember I came to your office, man, and we spoke about what all of us are called, and a few are chosen. And you are saying today, Abantu, when I see a black brother doing well, and your book is good, and then I love your work, and then when you go to do a presentation with Kunweb Suk now on Wednesday, on Thursday, and I have to fight Vusi. I have to close doors for Vusi, close doors for Linda, close doors for Linda Ntuli and Dr. Nelly Zanilambogaz, Basitane, etc., etc. Tell me before we start our conversation, why, as black people, why we don't respect each other, why we don't push each other. Once Vusi is on top, we're trying to step aside, and then we can clap hands.
It's because we have been told that there's only room for one. The psychology of growing up black is that there's only room for one. So there can only be one Lindan Tuuli hosting the largest breakfast radio show in the continent. There can only be one Vusi Thembekwayo, global top 12 speaker in the world, two-time world champion. There can only be one Patrice Motsepe with a level of wealth. There can only be one Aliko Dangote. So because we have this psychology of only one, when one achieves it, we think there's the only way to achieve the same thing is simply that person. That's our mindset. I mean, you just think about when your neighbor succeeds.
Sure.
And you ask yourself, why is that? It's because in our mindset, I think that's been a big part of our mindset. And today, even though we live in the posh suburbs, even though we drive the AMGs, even though we speak the English, siyaloyana still. I'll tell you, you know, so ngangikuloya ngokuyobona mhlambe umuntu osebenza ekhaya. Namhlanje ngikuloya ngokuchaphaza ngegama lawo. Namhlanje ngikuloya ngokukhuluma amanga ngawo ku Twitter. Namhlanje ngikuloya ngokuthi ngingene kuma business rooms la ufuna ukwenza business khona ngikuvalele. Ukuloya all the same. It's not different to go into ngicela uthumele, you know, mhlambe imfene ngale ngaphesheya ukuthi ziyomoseka amakhelwane. It's exactly the same thing. And so that mindset for me is problematic. It's a huge problematic mindset. But I also realize you're not going to change the mindset. What you have to do is to celebrate other successes.
Sure.
I love, and I'm a big fan of Connie Ferguson. You know, I watch when people attack Connie Ferguson on Twitter, and I think, to Constance Weab. I don't know her personally, but Ngimazi, just watching her journey from far, as a presenter with CCV, and you gotta admire a woman who started that early, then who was a model, became a presenter, became an actress, and is now a phenomenal businesswoman. She's lived 5 lives in the space of a couple of decades.
Sure.
And I don't know how you can look at that example and not be inspired. How you can look at a person like that and not feel a sense of hope. So I think njengabantu we really have to fanesikhule man fanesikhulisa Sibiya sifundisane futhi nokuthi you know there's another way to do it. There's other ways to do it. I'm a Judah phenomenal at it. I do business with them. I can tell you for free. If I get on the phone right now with a Jewish connection of a friend of mine who happens to be Jewish. You go, hey man, I need a person who's on the website. The only person he's referring me to is one of his own. But I get on the phone and say, hey man, the only person who's on Kumanai is one of his own.
Sure.
We don't think like that. And it's going to take us a while, I think, to get to that point as a people.
Number two, powerful, Vusi. Number two, you go to a boardroom and then you're in the presentation of your company. But you don't understand the person that you are presenting to is a person, or finally, finally, Sibiya. This is my chance to show him, Muguti, I'm the DG here, I'm the CEO here. Let me just close him down. Let me push him down. And a lovely lady with a great concept, powerful concept, go to the boardroom. And then this guy, I will let you know, let me show this woman who I am. And finally, she's here. Vusi, how do we deal with those people? Come on, this guy. How do you deal with that with those people? Because you want to get business, and then this DG, this chief of staff, this whatever, Uti, let me close down Sibiya. It's high time because Vusi, ufika nge-MT or ufika nge-Maserati or ufika lapha nge-Bentley Bentayga, this guy uyazi akanayo i-chance ukuthi ayidrayive le moto. Oh, uzothenga i-Rolls Royce manje. Oh, unomuzi esentini, une-apartment esentini. Oh, now uzomuva aye-Sandhurst, uyomuva aye-Mhlanga, uzomuva aye-Waterfall, etc. Ngize njani Vusi to good, okay, I can see this person ukuthi uyangincindezela.
You have to, Sibiya, I mean, what I've learned is you have to work around them. So it happened, I think it's happened to me a couple of times, but I remember the one time it happened, I just bought, it was my first Aston Martin, DBS, the Volante. And so it's not, I don't drive my sports cars during the week.
Sure.
I think you've seen me during the week, my driver drives me around. But it was a weekend day. It was a Friday, and I had this meeting. So I go to the meeting. I'm driving this particular car, and I could just feel in the room people who are unhappy. Hey man, what's wrong with you? And I knew at the beginning of the meeting that Lendongangi said I was not going to get. Sure. And I knew it was because Umangena, they saw what I parked, right?
Come on, Vusi.
So here's what I did actually in that whole meeting. I spent the meeting educating them about why black success is necessary and why black success must be celebrated. That mindset, Westway, is going to take us a long time to decouple. It's going to take a long time for us to break that mindset so people understand how toxic that mindset is. But I'll tell you another thing. You must never hide God's blessings in your life. Come on.
Absolutely. Come on.
For my birthday this year, there is a particular brand of car that I've always wanted. And I went to that and I was like, what? Boss, you're turning 35 years old. 70. Nas this one.
10.
I didn't do it for people. I'm a big car guy. People who know me know that I'm a car guy. I collect cars.
Yes, sir.
But what I am not going to do is I'm not going to celebrate my success. There is a difference between celebrating your success and I'm not talking about
Yes, sir.
I'm not talking about boasting and gloating and showing off.
Yes, sir.
About a week ago, so I'm driving this particular country in your park, there's some young kids that find an auction. Hey, put was, Tom. Open the doors, but because we must normalize this thing. You need to normalize a young black boy like me, a young black boy who comes from a township, didn't get a tender. My father died when I was 13. My mother raised 5 of us. I don't have connections. I don't have a network.
Come on.
I'm not a comrade. I'm not in a political party. I didn't get a BEQ, but I'm 35 years old and I've got a collection of sports cars. I've got properties all over the world. We need to celebrate that thing. So that because when we celebrate, we educate. That's very important. You can't educate yourself about what you hate.
It's power.
You can't educate yourself about what you hate.
Power.
Uma ngikuqonda Sibiya, angengifunde kuwe.
Yeah.
I go, hey man, Sibiya, awudlulise la. Wadlula kanjani la?
Sure.
The conversation you and I were having the other day was because I said, Sibiya, you went through this difficult time in your life. How did you do it? And the reason is because I am at a stage in my business life where my business is at a stage now where it's creating enemies.
Sure.
And so I now need to learn who's with me and who wants to be next to me just so they can make me fall. And you can't tell the difference between people who are with you and people who are next to you. But they're both right here. And learning the person and reading their character and understanding them, that you go, no man, lo ubengazelanga the mission, lo ubezela ukuzofunda ukuthi nisebenza kanjani la ekhaya ngizozama ukunwisa. Yabona? So I think it's important for us to normalize black success and black excellence. Especially black success. I always say to people, black success that is untethered. Linda Sibiya is untethered. Like, my guy, you are a radio genius. It doesn't matter what radio platform they put you on. You are a communications genius. It's uNkulunkulu uphile.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ngingafika mina nenzondo nomona, but uNkulunkulu ngeke akuphuce lesipho because uvusa kathani. And I think if as human beings we spent enough time trying to unlock our own talents as we do trying to bring other people down, the world would be an amazing place.
Wow, that's power. Vusi, we are in lockdown, and then we might go on level 3, and people in business, they're going through a lot, man. And after COVID, I'm a business as a Valor, and up and coming business people, they are thinking, what next? We can see Tina in a township, things are bad. And when you go to government right now, government may tell you, I'm concentrating to with relief fund. And again, Mbuzo Uti, Vusi is young, Vusi, an entrepreneur. Each and every day you sleep, you eat, every day you think of e-business. And there are people right now who are in trouble because they are, but I have to speak to the premier, speak to the minister, and speak to the DG, speak to the chief of staff. So we're channeled in one place. So if they don't get business there, it means about collapse. They never went to Woolies, they never went to Ackermans, they never went to even Ghana. I remember when I was going to Ghana, I said to you, Vusi, I'm going to Ghana. I want to open my academy. Yeah. You said to me, there's Coach Olabi. Coach Olinda is coming.
Yeah.
When I got into his office, I said, hey, my brother, that's Vusi, that's my man. But coming back, my brother, to that question now, Vusi. Hey, I tell you. Oh, brother. People, I'm a business. I don't know, in your 5 minutes, what can you say to this young man? About entrepreneurs, I don't want to go there. I want to go to a business guy, up and coming. Sometimes I sleep at 2 o'clock and then I wake up at 7 in the morning because what next? I'm 45 years old. You are 35. And you book at 55 or frustrated, no, I'm locked down.
Let me tell you, Sibiya, I've become a realist in my life. I think you can't wish away reality. So what's happening right now is real. I was saying to a client of mine, my experience is telling me that there are 3 kinds of people at the moment, right? There's 3 kinds of people. There are those that are in panic, and I guess because it's the best way I know how to. There are those that are in panic. There are those that are like a deer in headlights. If you see and you're driving a car, the minute the spotlight hits, it freezes, right? So
that is true, yeah.
And then there are those that are out running, looking for opportunities. Now, most people what started in panic. We all went into panic.
Yes, sir.
So what you must realize is, Vusi has outdone some things now, but a few weeks ago, I was panicking just like everybody else.
Yes, sir.
Right. So you have to move out of panic. And the thing about panic is panic is an emotion, but panic is not a strategy. So when you feel panic, what happens is your whole body, your energy, your emotion, your mind, your creativity, all that goes towards fighting the panic. It doesn't go towards coming up with ideas, which funding is in much.
Sure.
So the first thing you want to do is try and get away from the state of panic. Then there are some people who are like stuck. But me, okay, you know, usiru bethe 21 days, waphela 21 days, washango extension, waphela extension, wafika wasitshela ukuthi end of May uzophuma ngo-announcement. Awuthi phela nje lento uzothi umqeda ukuphela, everything will go back to normal. Ngicela ukunicacisela. There is no normal after this. There's
that is true.
Normal. So don't
sit
in this conversation and think at the beginning of June, I'm going back. Things are going to be normal. Netbank published a study, Sibiya, but there's going to be 1.6 million people losing their jobs.
Sure.
1.6 million people losing their jobs. In South Africa, we work on a 5 multiplier. That means that for every one person who works, they feed 5 mouths. If 1.6 million people lose their jobs, that's 8 million people who are going to be without a breadwinner.
Yeah.
The National Small Business Chamber came out to say that over 50% of businesses might close down because of coronavirus, particularly small businesses. On top of that, big companies are retrenching. Dion One is closing down, Edcon closing down, Game might be closing down. There's a whole host of things going on. So there's very big difficulty in the market. So what I'm saying is that's real. If you're feeling anxious or worried, that's real. You can't wish it away. But people must still eat, guys.
That is true.
People must still eat. People must still wear clothes. Children are still going to go to school. In the Bible, it says life carries on.
That is true.
So what you have to figure out is, what does your business look like as life carries on? So I'll tell you what I did, and I'll give you a very simple example. So I was supposed to be on tour. I had 3 European countries coming up. I was going to be in the US. Then I had about 3 or 4 other African countries coming up. Sibiya, my entire tour was cancelled. You're talking over 4.5 million rand that I've lost.
Sure.
Right? Now, I can sit and panic. Go, hey, man.
Yes, you had, yeah.
What is full name? Or I can deal with the new reality, you know. So what we did, we spent, by the way, for everyone in this conversation, I'll be honest, we spent the first 3 weeks in panic. We did, my team and I, myself included. We were, okay, then I realized it's not going to end. So we need to come up with a new reality. So we built a landing page that is not my website. It's a landing page. I designed a talk on crisis leadership because we're in a crisis and this is the time for leadership. I reached out to all of my clients and I said to them, guys, all of your people right now are panicking, they're demotivated, they're worried. What you need is you need to put together a webinar with all of your people and have Vusi come to speak on the webinar.
That's powerful.
Now I'm writing deals again, right? So what you have to do is you have to figure out, what does your business look like in the new reality? Because we're going to be in the state that we're in for a while.
So, umuntu uti, I can see, and then I'm listening to Vusi no Sibiya, and I can see what I can maybe ngivuke again, because as you are saying, markets are crashing, Vusi. As you are saying, Edcon is closing down, and abantu abaningi bazolamba 8 million to 10 million people bazohlala bengenakudla abanye. But you are saying something very powerful. You are saying, I guess bheka ama-companies ethu utathini. Ngicela ukubuza lo mbuzo just in passing, Vusi. People who are relying on business from the government, what is your take on that? The only thing that I see is government business.
You're going to be in big trouble. Government has repurposed its budget. When you hear Minister of Finance Tito Mboweni says we are reprioritizing, that's a big financial term for we are changing the budget the way we had it, and we're going to move that money to other things. I just want to say something interesting to answer your question. You know, everybody's been talking about essential services going back to work.
Sure.
Hey, man, essential services. You're trying to tell me what this whole time I've been doing something that is not essential. I've been lying to myself. So if you are at home and you've not been working, you and I have been non-essential. We didn't know. I didn't know. But it turns out that human beings can live and exist without my services. So now I have to really think about, how do I make my services essential? So to the people, I think if you're supplying government, guys, you need to definitely rethink your business. And, you know, everybody's doing masks, everybody's doing sanitizers, everybody's doing PPE. I must have received about over 10 phone calls of people going, hey, I've got a shipment coming in from China. Hey, petrol from China. Now I see people are doing these things that you can install where you get sanitized. That's what we call it's cool. That's what we call linear thinking. It means you're thinking the way everyone else is thinking.
Now
what you have to do is you have to look for what we call adjacencies. These are the opportunities aligned to the moment. They are not necessarily direct opportunities, but they are aligned to the moment. So yesterday, I got an email from a guy who says to me, hey, man, I got an order for 100,000 units of shoe nets. So I said, what's a shoe net? He says, I want to wear on their shoes.
Yes,
I said, why would you have 100,000 units? He says, because the virus is live on surfaces, and one of the major retailers wants to protect not only the counter surfaces, but also the floor surfaces. He went to them and he said, guys, if you're putting alcohol on the floor, you should be giving your people shoe nets. But perfect, we'll buy the shoe nets for all of our stores, 100,000 units.
Wow.
You see, that's an adjacency. He didn't go make a mask. He thought about something else. So I really think it's important for us to be creative, look around, and get on the internet, see what people are doing in the US, what people are doing in China. See what people are doing in South America. Get an understanding of what the other opportunities are lying to this time up, because they're definitely there. And you don't want to be like everybody else.
Vusi, you get DMs. I get DMs. I think because abantu they want to do business, and then there's two that I don't like, which I hate. Kulu. One, umuntu othumela a message or sending an email or I figure in my office ati ngicela ukwenza noma yini. I can do anything. But there's someone who's there. And then number two, I've never tendered in my business since I've started business in 2008, Magic Communications. And there are entrepreneurs. I'm happy we are joined people from Ghana, from Nigeria, your followers, Vusi, and also by Nomu Paluguti, I am taking notes. Vusi, I want to be in business, and then what kind of business? Noma yin, I can do Noma yin.
Yeah. Very good.
What can you tell the person?
Let me tell you now, very dangerous mindset. The only way to get nothing out of life is to be completely unclear about what you want. If you say to life, give me anything, life will give you nothing. That's how life works. Now, some people call it karma, other people call it God, others call it the universe. But you can't go on your knees to your creator and say, Ngolo, no my ear. Because, guys, let's think logically. There are 7 billion people on earth. Let's assume that all these people, in some shape or form, have a deity, a God. Which means every day, of those 7 billion people, let's assume 10% of them pray. That's 700 million people. Now, if there's 7 days in a week, 7 by 7 is 49. So God is hearing 4.9 billion prayers in a week. And you want him to answer yours with no mayin.
No mayin.
I mean, you can, so I always say to people, but I don't want to mock it when I speak, because what I've learned when people say no mayin, it's not that that person is being lazy. Usually they say that person ulambi.
Sure.
Sengifikile Sibiya ngithi we mhlamba sisebenze sonke uthi wena kumina Thembekwayo uthi senzeni ngithi noma yini baba ngisho ukuthi kuwe la ufuna nje ubone ukuthi kunethuba ngizongena ngoba ngifuna lokho okuncane okukhona. So I understand it from that perspective, but so whilst we are human and we are humble and we must empathize. The most important thing, if you come to a Linda Sibiya, Vusi Thembekwayo, Ontuli, anyone else, umufika, have a very clear idea of what you want to do. I always say to people, guys, I only have 7 minutes for any conversation, only 7 minutes. If you don't grab my attention in 7 minutes, that conversation is over. It's 7 minutes. So in that 7 minutes, you must come in and tell me what you want to talk about, why it's important, why you think I'm the person who must partner with you on this thing, and what you want to do. If in that 7 minutes you capture my attention, I'll give you another 53 minutes. It'll become an hour. But if in that 7 minutes you lose me, then the meeting is over. It's gone. I'm going to hang up the phone. So I think it's really important for people to just have a sense of clarity about what you want to do.
Was it entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
The guys who will go to departments, go to this municipality. Our guys, they come to my office. I met them even when I was on radio. They'll come in and say, no, I'm going to fill the tender document, and then I failed. I'm trying again. They're building a road. They're trying everything because tender. I remember my mother before Sean, what Linda, can you tell me? Yini itender iwenziwani mntana mama was not educated. Because people were talking about it.
Yeah.
Abanye bakwazile ukuthola abanye even in my office when bekhuluma kuthiwa ignetende till we laugh at that because angaze ngitenderisha. I believe ekutheni indoda afuna isebenze ngalalo. You have to work hard and then make sure ukuthi you take your business to another level. Vusi, what can you say to these guys abacabanga ukuthi I want to be an entrepreneur?
You know, I always say, so my experience with tenders is this, and to answer your question, let me give people a bit of a background, right? So
yes, sir.
My journey was, I was in corporate. When I was in corporate, I was speaking alongside. And part of working in corporate is I worked in finance. When I left to start my business, I always had a public speaking career. And I saved my money. So my strength over the years has always been I saved my money. And so every time I got into a new business, I had these savings that I would use that money to start that new business. And so when I eventually sold my business and I created my venture capital company today, which invests in other businesses.
Yes, sir.
Then I started getting exposure into many more sectors because, now we're invested in 17 different businesses from biotech to edtech, all across the range, right? And I realized that there's some of those businesses where the only way the business gets work is if it submits a tender. But listen to this, because I want to say this to particularly the people who work in that space. If you reply to a tender, you're not going to get it. The only way to get a tender is to write the scope.
Yes, sir.
So when a tender is published, the question you must ask yourself is, what made this department know they need this thing and write the scope for this thing to publish the tender?
Sure.
So when almost tender, you are 18 months after the action.
Yes, sir.
I always say you will always be the bridesmaid, you'll never be the bride. But you are never the one getting married.
Sure.
So I think that's important, right? Particularly for people who work in public sector, who submit tenders, be strategic. Be the one who starts the conversation. Don't be the one who comes in at the end of a conversation. And then the second thing I want to say very quickly, Sibiya, if you'll allow me, is this. That
yes, sir.
It's really important to try and specialize.
Sure.
Sure. And you don't have to specialize in one thing. You can specialize in two things. But specialize. The more generalist you are, then you're not really building a business. You know the difference between being an entrepreneur and being self-employed? A person who is an entrepreneur can disappear for 90 days and the business will run.
Wow.
The money will come. The customers will go. the stock
Come
will
on.
be sold.
Power.
A person
It's
who's
powerful.
self-employed must show up every day. Otherwise, things are going to go wrong. And so
Sure.
there are many people who are self-employed who think they are entrepreneurs.
Sure.
I mean,
That's very
you
powerful.
don't really think Raymond Ackerman knows how many baked beans are sitting at the Pick and Pay in
No.
Fitzroy. He doesn't know.
Come on, Vusi. Come
Right?
on. Come on.
And so, whatever business you are in, you must think about it
Sure.
that way. Uthi, ngilakha kanjani le business so that I can disappear for a full 3 months. Got the business iqhube, ama customers athenge, imali ingene, ngihole. That's how you need to think about your business.
Another question, my brother, is a township business. Right now, township business is going down, and everyone is talking about it. And then they are saying township business is because our brothers and sisters from Africa, they are here, and then our business valwa. And we grew up, shows the supermarket, Thembekwayo supermarket, and now we don't have that. And then the business is dying. And I saw something on the net, Uguti built it is going down, Tops is going down, and they were saying they're losing a lot of money. I think they lost 54 billion because of they're not selling. And things are bad because each and every day. But if you go to the township, things are bad. And I think there's a young guy, Osbugai, where I am today. I went to the university and then I remember when I was young, in doing grade 12, just order ubia for Gutukdaiswe, and then after school, I will sell apples in a train because but I had a dream and a vision which one day I'll become something. But there's this person, Jamanje, Owe Township, Oti, I can see after lockdown, like Kaya was a Valley store, and like Kaya, there's nothing as organized. My brother, with your thinking, your wisdom, what can you say?
Yeah, I really feel for... You're going to make me say some very unpopular things, but ngoba ngixoxa nawe, and I know that this is a safe place. This has been, for me, what's been my biggest problem with this lockdown. Is this lockdown was an economic lockdown. It wasn't a social lockdown. And we must be honest with each other. People are carrying on. There's no lockdown.
No, there's no lockdown. Yes,
So
there's no
what
lockdown.
we did actually is we locked down the economy, but we didn't lock down the social structures of people moving.
Yeah,
You have to remember, Speed, that a month before Cyril Ramaphosa announced lockdown, the country was downgraded into junk status.
yes, I know.
You
Yeah,
also have to remember that 5 years preceding our being downgraded into junk status, our economy grew at less than 1%. Economists call that what they call a chronic depression. That means your country is not in depression, but your level of growth is so low that it feels like you're in depression.
sure.
So that's
Okay.
where we've been. And the people who suffered the most are the ones right at the bottom of the pyramid. So my frustration with our policymakers and our politicians who said, no, this lockdown must be extended until whenever. To say to people, extend the lockdown when you're earning a salary.
Yeah,
Not a problem for you. So
Sure.
I say to any politician who says, let's extend this lockdown until next year, I say, no problem. You must also give up your salary until next year. Like everybody else who's earning an income. Right?
Sure.
Because then I think you'll see a very different approach to this conversation. Umbuzo wako was pointed at the person who's in the township economy, in the township business, who's just
Yes, sir.
doing enough to get by. Here's what I would say. And I don't, I always say, I don't have the answers to everything. I only offer what I can. Here's what I would say.
Yes, sir.
I would say, don't fight you mustn't fight the forces of change because you're going to lose. So anytime you find yourself in a moment like this, rather than fight what's happening around you, try and find where the new opportunities are, because there are definitely new opportunities. So
Sure.
I'll tell you, quickly, I'll tell you this. This morning, I got a call from a kid who, he washes my car. Alcohol ekhulunywa ngayo idayiswa. Alcohol, mfana wami. No, I said to him, I was like, no, the alcohol stores are closed. Says, no, I le alcohol le puzwa. The alcohol. So I said to the alcohol. So the government has gazetted in the laws that all cars must be sanitized. This includes amatekis. So he's saying he went to talk to the local taxi association, the Benoni Taxi Association. What he born, can I come and sanitize him? But he absolutely is a kokili malenga. What he perfect. Now the problem he has is we are told alcohol to sanitize the cars. So he didn't stand where he was and go, I run a car wash business and then lotto. He went and thought there must be an opportunity aligned to what I do based on this moment. And now he's acted on that opportunity. And so coincidentally, what I did for him is I connected him to a friend of mine, Moshe, a Jewish friend of mine, who runs a alcohol production facility in Waverley, and he's bought his first batch of stock at cost. In fact, I bought him the first batch of stock at cost so that he can run his business. So I think you have to be adaptable, guys. This is for those of us who are business people. If you're a real entrepreneur, this is the time to be an entrepreneur. This is the time. Now we must think, we must find new things to do, we must come up with new ideas. This is the moment.
Before I start, Vusi, you met Madiba. It's in your book. If you want to on Instagram, the giant guy, the tall guy, the dark guy, smart guy, with the late Bama Ponya and Matamela, the president of the country. And when I say all of us are called but few are chosen, we have to to say, well done. I know it's sometimes politically uber correct or uber wrong. Woolies, the Speak and Pay, the Spa, Boxer, black people are the general workers.
Yeah.
26 years of freedom. I was lucky when I was young, when I was joining SABC 1996, I met Madiba, and I remember I cried walking to the building of the SABC, and I was invited on his birthday to say, was a Sibiya imitate Madiba, and then I was there. Why I'm quoting these things is because abanye will never bakhulume ngawe namba bakhulume ngathi because sobe sesidlulile. Umuzo engawo ujulile. Ama-politicians are excited yini if sizobala ama-billionaires. City Oppenheimer, City Rupert, and then on top and put our brother Patrice, etc., etc. But each and every morning and evening, ama trains ahluka-hlukeneyo. Athatha black sisters and black brothers no baba bethu abaya bangayijabulanga imoto ekuseni nantambama uyashanela ushayithil security guard, and then thina as black people, do we see ourselves or mhlawumbe isizukulwane esizayo when the politicians they sit around, when they plan, bathini Vusi, what is your thinking bona umuntu omnyama having sort of woolies? If I go back to Kwamashu, Emlangakhula Khona and Imlazi, now I see Mega City, now I see Bridge City. I remember it was a forest, but now there is Pick and Pay, now there is Pep, now there is Spa. The same auntie in the supermarket kwa Mlazi now is going to Mega City, now is going to Bridge City. Sambonge Maponya the late, Maponya Mall. But our brothers and sisters, when I started Uguti, let me start my academy, Magic Broadcasting Academy. Now we are accredited, so we advertising and journalism, because I want to see people being announcers, but to see them because their own radio stations, etc., etc. But coming back, Vusi, ama-politicians ethu ngabe anayo yini nathi in mind when they plan to see Vusi Thembekwayo enento yakhe i-product kaVusi ithathwa very, very serious. And then Tina, as black people, do we see ourselves owning big businesses or until sihambe emhlabeni sisebenzela o-Rupert and Oppenheimers, etc., etc.?
Yeah. There's so many answers. The question you've asked is so layered. There are so many answers to it. So I'm going to try and attempt to give you a couple of different perspectives. The first is this. Don't expect vision from politicians. Politicians are not leaders. They are politicians. That's why there's the word leader and there's the word politician. Now, sometimes some politicians become leaders, but that doesn't mean all politicians are leaders. So we must be very careful what we expect from politicians. Equality is not about bringing to life the vision of a people. Politics is about fighting for a particular embedded agenda at a point in time.
Yes, sir.
I think that's the first thing to say. The second thing to say is this. Mina, I think I am who I am, Sibiya, because I love being mentored. I love being taught. I love being a student. So you mentioned I had the incredible privilege of meeting Umadima twice. Sure. I have been mentored by people like Richard Maponya, who was the chairman of my VC firm when I started it, until he passed away. I can't wait to announce to people who the new chairman is joining our firm, but very well known, very respected business person. So I always hide myself to people who've achieved so that I can learn, because as much as I know, there is a forest of knowledge out there, and I will never have all of it, right? So I'm always looking to learn. The third thing, and this will answer your question very specifically about the state of our economy. You see, Westby, when we designed, the problem with our economic system is that I think as a people, as black people, we need to decide if we want wealth transfer or if we want dignity.
Yes, sir.
We have tended to think that these two things are the same.
Sure.
See, dignity is about having a decent paying wage. Dignity is about owning your land and owning your property. Dignity is about having access to quality health care, access to a good education, so that you can send your kids anywhere in the world and they can work. That's dignity.
Power.
Wealth transfer is about getting access to a tender, it's about getting access to a contract, it's about getting access to a BEE deal. So what we were told was that these wealth transfer mechanisms would give us dignity. What we're learning is that there's been a transfer of wealth to maybe 10 people, but millions of black people who still don't have dignity.
Sure.
And so I think what we are going to have to do as a people is we're going to have to think about what is our agenda as we go forward. How do we bring a state of dignity to people? Just the last note for you on this. If you think about buying shares is how you transfer wealth. Linda Sibiya had shares, what did I sell Vusi? That's a wealth transfer mechanism. That's not a dignity transfer mechanism, and that's definitely not an empowerment mechanism. Because if you want to empower people, then rather than Linda Sibiya transfer his shares to Vusi, what should happen is a business like Linda Sibiya should be 60% owned by the people Linda Sibiya is trying to empower. So you can go to the people we've spoken about, all of the big known billionaires and the doyens who had wealth long before we came into this new South Africa.
Yes, sir.
And go and check who their shareholders are. And you're going to find that we have a wealth transfer program. We don't have a dignity transfer program. So the reason you end up with service delivery protests, the reason you end up with a Marikan, the reason you end up with high unemployment rate, the reason you end up with fees must fall is because our people are saying, give me dignity. Dignity. Give me a job that pays me a decent wage.
Yes.
And I go to school so I can get ready for the world of work. Give me dignity. I can get born into your wealth. I'll work for my own wealth. But just give me dignity. And we have a long, long way to go. But I don't have faith that politicians are going to get us there. I think leaders like you, people I follow, are going to get us there, who are in different places doing different things. They will get us into that space where we are starting to occupy new spaces and our voices start to reflect in new spaces and we start showing up with a new agenda every single day.
Mbuzo AU3 before I go. Number one, Mr. Thembekwayo. Politicians in South Africa. Mahamba, we level of 10, 1 to 10, Utinu Vusi. And number two, in terms of education in South Africa, what do you think? And then number three, the economy, Yagiti Mzanzi Africa.
Politicians, I really don't have much time for South African. I don't have time for many politicians all over the world, frankly. But I think, I think, by the way, there's some fantastic South African politicians out there. Some of them I don't agree with. I don't agree with their policies, but I like that they're radical. I like that they challenge. I like that they're willing to take a stand. In terms of our economy, guys, we've got a simple program. We don't have a lot of time left. So we've got a simple program, and I want to simplify it for everyone in this conversation. There are 55 million South Africans, Sibiya. 76% of them are black African. Over 80% of them are black by the broad definition. There are 5 major banks. There are 4 major food retailers. There are 6 large mining houses. There are 7 large communication firms. None of them are black-owned.
Sure.
That's the program. The program is how do you broaden access. So rather than say, I don't want to buy shares in a bank. If there's 5 major banks, we need a 6, a 7, an 8, a 9, and a 10 that are black. If there's 4 major retailers, we need a 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th that are black. And that's my conversation about dignity. Our economy is going to grow when we distribute the contribution of our economy across different people. It's the only way it's going to grow. We need more players, we need new players, and we need new people in different industries, everybody pushing that agenda. So we shouldn't be fighting amongst each other because all of us are busy fighting a war.
Education. The system of education in South Africa.
The best advice I can give any person listening to this, go to school, go to school, go to school. The only thing worse than a bad education is no education. So go to school. And once you've applied the education that you've got, you can then invest in yourself like I did, take yourself to the top schools around the world like I did, and get a better education. But just go to school.
A friend of mine, young Sibiya, everyone whom interview in business, you ask them this question. Eti Vusi, I want to be in business, but I don't have a capital.
Yeah.
And this person who I born would know, I can do it. When I go to the bank, I go to the bank.
Before you even finish the question, you do have capital. Of course you have capital. The problem is people think capital is money.
It's money, yes.
No,
No,
that's not capital. That's not, when I started my venture capital company today, I had this much money. In venture capital terms, this much money. You must understand, people in VC manage hundreds of millions and billions. I had a couple of million, this much money. But you know what I had?
Sure.
I had capital. Here's what that meant. I had relationships, networks. I could phone people, get people in the room, talk to people, convince them about what we're trying to get them to what I was trying to do so that they could partner with us. So if you have a business idea, you want to come up with a new phone or a new device, it's very simple. You have capital. Go on your phone and check who have you got access to, who can you phone, who can you talk to, who can give you access to new people. Because you're saying network economy. If you are in the network, you'll be in the economy. So get people to connect you to people. Everyone you need to know is one phone call away from someone you already know. Just
come on, Vusi.
Pick up man, Sibiya, I'm trying to access this one. Money finished. And then you're there, you're having the conversations, and you do have capital. Stop thinking with a brain that says, that's not the brain.
I want to get money.
No. Because the bank's not going to give you the money. So no one's going to give you money. Right? What you need is you need to get off your ass. You need to do stuff. You definitely have capital. It's called relationship capital. It's called network capital. It's called intellectual capital. Use that, and that will give you all the other forms of capital that you want.
Last one. When you go to the bank, you want a car. They give you money to buy a car. When you want money for the house, they don't give it to you. Want a money for the business, they don't give it to you. Why they give you money to buy a car 1 million or a car 500,000? But when I want money to start a business.
Let me answer your question this way. If the bank gives you R1 million to start a business and the business fails, what asset does the bank have that it can sell to get their R1 million? Zero. So the reason the bank's going to give you money to buy a car is because all of us like posting vrpas and we go to auctions. So if I give you R1 million to buy a car and you don't pay back the car, I take the car, sell it in an auction, I recuperate some of the losses. Third, this thing about property is a big deal, guys. And all of us should be putting more pressure on our banks to become better investors in enabling people to own properties, particularly the new black middle class, to start to buy properties. The way banks are doing it in South Africa, in my mind, is not right. The pricing is wrong. The risk model is wrong. Their go-to-market strategies are wrong. And you see it with companies like Uber coming up, companies like SA Home Loans coming up. Banks have definitely not been efficient in terms of how they provide home loan funding. So there we can definitely hold them to. But you know, again, I don't have faith in banks. Just do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. A bank will come to you and give you money. They'll never come to you and give you money when you need money. It's the funniest thing. But now that I have money, the bank will fall over themselves to give me more money. When I needed money, the bank wasn't there. That's the way banking system works. So do your thing. Get empowered. Get access to capital. Get people who will help you. Build your vision. Build your business. Build your dream. It's up to you. These things that God gave you, these 10 hands, that's all you need. Do that. And as you go in life, iti bazokuthola phambili.
Vusi, thank you so much. Bazokuthola phambili. Ngizokuthola phambili. My brother, it's an honor. You're welcome, my brother. Thanks, Vusi. Ow.